Welcome in, everybody, to Dental Sports Picks. Today, we're going to be bringing you all your top DFS plays for the February 18th slate in the NBA. We're going to open up with Toronto at Milwaukee. Of course, it is your highest paced game on the slate tonight. Of course, they play no defense out here, straight offense. They don't believe in defense in the NBA no more. So, this is your highest game.
No, they
Of
don't.
course, you're gonna have your, Antetokounmpo, and then your high scores. I mean, they're gonna put up their numbers regardless. But do we have any value out here? What are like our top plays in here? What are you feeling out there, Black? Like, what are our top plays?
In this Toronto Milwaukee game, if we we do have some news we got to wait on. I know Kyle Lowry is questionable for Thursday's game. But let's just say if he plays, he's a lock for me.
He put up some great numbers last night, or the 2 nights ago when I played Milwaukee till he got hurt. I want to say he put up like 32 in the first half or something like those.
He put up 22 minutes.
39 and 22 minutes. So
yeah, so
he was almost pushing 2 points a minute right there. Like he's great if you can get him for what is he right now? I want to say he's like 7K for 7K. Yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, you definitely got to wait on if he's going to play or not, but definitely be a key play if he does.
Yeah, I think he'd be decent. Coming through here on the Prince, we'll start off with that guard position. Van Fleet's price has dropped. He's at around 7.9. I know he's been flirting in the 8s. Recently, he's been 8.2, 8.3, 8.5, 8.6, 8.5. It's been since the 5th of February, so 13 days now since he's been under 8K. Yeah. I think he's a solid play. I mean, let's actually go back to this real quick. That last game, he put up 53.
Yeah.
On Milwaukee himself.
And if Lowry doesn't play, of course, he will be getting a lot more usage. So, I mean, it could be a play to make for sure.
I do see Van Fleet as a big play, especially if Lowry sits. At 7.9, I do think ownership as well is going to be kind of teetering a little lower. But if Lowry plays, obviously that'll – for tournament-wise, if Lowry plays, it'll hurt Van Fleet. If he doesn't play, I just think it'll drop back down around 35, maybe 40 fantasy points where he's projected around. Norman Powell, now that Anunoby is back, he's kind of on my list where I don't really want to mess with it right now. His price did drop. Very, honestly, phenomenal player when he was in the starting lineup. He still got 34 minutes with Anunoby back, but his production considerably dropped. Shot per attempts. I mean, we're looking at when he was starting.
Pretty much cut in half.
Yeah, so, I mean, Powell was a great play before. Now with Anunoby back, I don't like that too much. Siakam's always in play. I think he's going to be a little bit more of a GPP option tonight. Ownership's looking a little bit more down. But him and Broshier are going to be good little GPP plays. Let's say on the other side of the ball, Giannis is a lock regardless. At 10.9, he's going to get you what he's going to get you. Cash games is always going to be solid. Last game, 72.5 against the Raptors. So he's definitely a lock in this matchup.
Told you, man. There's no defense out there. I don't play no defense.
Facts. Middleton, I'm not crazy about Middleton, and I'll tell you why. He's way too expensive for the production that he puts up. So in the last 10 games, just to even hit, like his price has dropped now. But we'll say just to hit value on that. So we'll just round it to 8K really quick. 5 times, got to hit 40 points to hit 5 times value. He has hit that value 1, 2, 3 times in the last 10 games. I'm not a Middleton guy. I'm just not. And Drew Holiday might be coming back tonight as well. So if he does come back, and it's a questionable tag, so we do got to wait on some more news, it's not something I want to fly to. Again, he gets minutes. Opportunity is there. Don't get me wrong.
But I mean, with Giannis touching the ball every time on the court, you're not going to get a lot of looks. And Drew Holiday's back. I mean,
it'll lower it a little bit. Yeah, for sure. And he's not shooting very well. I mean, in the 40s. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but he doesn't get a lot of the ancillary stats consistently. Like, he has games where he smashed. The games he smashed, he had some assists. So if he could pass the ball around, great. But, again, it's just not someone I'm touching. And if he's at higher ownership, it's an easy fade for me. Chris Middleton's an easy fade. Coming back on this, for them, DiVincenzo is a decent little play tonight. It is a 3-game slate, so you're going to see some of these little plays that you're probably not going to play on a normal slate. But today you might squeeze in some DiVincenzo. This is if Holiday doesn't play. I'm definitely going to put in some lineups with DiVincenzo in there. Yeah. And then also another little sneaky play is, again, if Holiday doesn't play, is Brian Forbes. I think Brian Forbes is a nice little cheap option if you're going stars and scrubs tonight. Again, we only got 3 games to work with, but we do got a handful of stars on the slate. So if you're really trying to squeeze in some little picks, Forbes is a decent one to possibly get you 15 to 20 at that 3.7 price tag. Definitely solid. He's going to get you some minutes there, probably in the 20 range for sure. Definitely. So, I mean, he's averaging decent range here with minutes. Obviously, these are a little bit probably more when just Drew was back. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. It's going to drop his production no matter what. But if you want 15 points, you'd be good. You just got to pay attention to the news on Drew.
Yeah, I might want to do a little short stack, with the lineups for this game because, it is the highest on the slate, the highest total.
Yeah, so you could do a little stack. You could stack this game. Whatever lineups you come up with, you could run that back.
Especially since there's only 3 games tonight. So, you're going to have to stack something, honestly. So, if anything, I'm definitely taking my money on this game to stack. The other 2 ain't really promising, but no. But that's all you got for this for this game?
Yeah, that's all I got for that game. There's nothing else that I like.
We can move it to Brooklyn at the Lakers. You do have the Lakers who are favored by 2.5 with a 232 total, which is the Lakers' highest total of the year. You got a straight offense versus a straight defense. The Lakers don't score much, especially now without AD, and then you got the Nets over here that they score everything, but they don't play no defense. So honestly, my key matchups I might look at, James Harden and Kyrie, the chemistry that was there, the intensity that's going to be going on between them, especially with no AD. Of course, James is going to get a lot of looks. So, LeBron's going to be out there, touching the ball every time, honestly. It's LeBron James. Why would you not give him the ball? But, what other small plays do we have in here, except for our key stars?
Obviously your stars here in play with Harden, James, and Irving. I think what we're going to have to really kind of find is the mid-tiers in this game. Mm-hmm. If you can put a couple pieces in here, like Schroeder's honestly might be a great play tonight at 5'8". Against the Brooklyn team. Again, doesn't play defense and in a pace-up spot. He's out of honestly the last 2. So we got Denver and Memphis where he kind of very much underperformed. But last night he stepped it back up against Minnesota, shot pretty well. He got the minutes, but typically he's been getting minutes on this team. And he's been actually producing very well. And at a 5.8 price tag, I think this is a great pick tonight.
Yeah. If he goes in at the 1, Kyrie ain't the best on defense,
Oh, for sure.
Definitely get some looks in there,
Also, when I look at, these are GPP plays. It's Joe Harris. The surrounding parts are just GPPs. There's not going to be much ownership on players like this. Kuzma's not going to have much ownership. Jeff Green's going to have very little ownership. Montrezl Harrell's going to have little ownership.
He might actually be a good play, though.
Harrell will be a good play tonight. The reason is because
at
5'9", if he gets 30 minutes, I think him and Gasol both. You can kind of GPP plays, depending if you're doing mass entry. I think Marc Gasol is going to be in a couple of those lineups, and Harrell should be in a couple of those lineups.
Yeah, but based on minutes, Harrell definitely gets a lot more minutes than Gasol.
True, but I think it'll also be dependent on if it's. And the thing is Brooklyn gives up so many points to the center position that it could feed both. Or one could be going off at one point, and they're going to go with the strong suit at that because we've seen Marc Gasol get his minutes too. He just had 29 last game, so 30 last game, and he's at 28. So it's not that he won't get the minutes; it just depends on the situation. So he can get you some points too, especially in a game against Brooklyn. It's not impossible. This is again another little GPP play. If you're trying to get some salary relief. Yeah, if you're trying to get some salary relief in the GPP where you're trying to smash in these stars, you're going to have to go to the bottom of the well on some of these plays. They're not cute plays. They're not. We can be honest. They're risky plays, but that's what GPP is. You're going to get Marc Gasol at probably 1 to 2% ownership, And if he gives you 25, you're a leg up on the freaking slate at a 4K price tag.
Yeah, sure.
Montrezl Harrell's not even going to be super owned, I believe, even as well. And again, at a 5.9, if he gets you 30, even 35, this is Brooklyn. So, I mean, it's not impossible. He's a great pick. Kuzma, he's just way too expensive. Like, just way too expensive.
Yeah.
He's moved up so high. Like, he was at 7K. He gave you 15 fantasy points. Kuzma's a no touch for me. I get it. This is a great game, great game slate for him.
Yeah.
But I just price
I'm
tag.
not a Kuzma fan myself. I'm not really.
Like, the price tag is just
so flaky. His floor is so low. Like,
exactly, and his ceiling's not even that high.
Yeah.
So it's just not something that I'm gonna touch.
I mean, if he got down, like 6K, 62.
I would
look at him.
I wouldn't touch him unless he's in the fives. I just wouldn't. Like, even at 6K to hit 5 times value, he's got to get 30 points. How many times does he hit 30 in this bad boy? Like, it's just tough. Like, and that's just the covers. I mean, just
he hits 30 pretty much. I mean, he's averaging 22 on the year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously recently he's been getting it, but I don't know. It's just something about Kuzma, man. I'm just not.
He's a flaky player. You can't have a guarantee on him for sure.
I'm not trying to touch him. But yeah, that would be all I got for this particular game.
So, we can move on to our final game of the slate. You do have Miami at Sacramento. It is our lowest scoring game on the slate. Miami is favored by 1 with a 226 total right now. It has dropped some as the day went on. I mean, Bam, I feel it's a good matchup out here. Maybe De'Aaron Fox. But, I mean, we got any value plays or anything out here? I mean, Tyler Hero might, Kings have no defense. He might get some points up,
Value play is going to be Corey Joseph. He's going to be super high owned today. And that's just because Sacramento's been really rolling him out there and giving him a lot of minutes. And at this price tag, this is a great price tag. 3.9K to get you almost close to 30 minutes a game. And he's been scoring with that. I mean, 12, 16, 22, fantasy-wise, 22, 25, 32. He's putting in the work. I mean, that also has to attribute to the fact that he's hitting his shots. So he could also drop that down to the low 20s. But, I mean, this is a decent little value play. Again, on a 3-game slate, Corey Joseph's a really good play. Other than that, on the guard spot for this, De'Aaron Fox, I think he's a great play. I know he's going to be higher owned on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. On DraftKings, he's going to be a little bit more lower owned just because of the 8.5, and on FanDuel, he's at 8.2. So he will be one of those GPP options again, I feel. And then we also have, Buddy Hield's a decent one, another GPP option. It's going to be lower owned. He might give you around that 30 range again, which he consistently does score. So his average this year is on 30 fantasy points per game. No Harrison Barnes, which means he takes more shots. I mean, no one's ever saying Buddy doesn't take shots. Buddy takes shots. Yeah. The key is, does he hit the shots? And that's the thing. He has his games where he doesn't hit anything. So again, this is a great GPP player. I wouldn't trust him in a cash game. But
definitely not.
But again, on this slate, you're always fishing around with GPP stuff. So Tyler, I like Halliburton or Tyrese, my bad. Halliburton's actually a really good play with the fact that his price tag has dropped. He was flirting around the mid 6s, 6'5", 6'6". He had a poor game last game. It's going to happen. But 37, 29, 31, 27, 45, 36, 39 down here. I mean, at 6K, can he get you 5 times value? More than likely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, his floor is not too low either. So, I mean, yeah, he definitely is a good play for 6K for sure.
For 6K, I think it's a solid play, And then we got Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is a decent play. Obviously, he's been having to play a bigger role with Dragic out. He's got to play hella minutes. I mean, that's for sure. But he shot terrible here, and he still gave you 43 fantasy points.
He had 3 blocks.
He had 15 boards.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Tyler Hero had 15 boards. I mean, that's nuts. Is that going to happen again? Probably not.
I mean, it's Sacramento. You never know.
I mean, he seems to only want to rebound, in certain areas like that. I mean, like I said, Sacramento's not a great rebounding team either, so It's not impossible.
Yeah.
But I think Tyler Hero's a solid little play here, again, at 5.9. I know he's going to draw some ownership because of the price tag being down. Yeah, I think Tyler Hero's a good play too. I mean, I would definitely put him in some of my lineups, probably around 25%. And then Kendrick Nunn. I know Kendrick Nunn is getting a solid share of minutes. Poor game against the Clippers, but he was also in some fouling issues with 4 fouls. I mean, he's always a solid play. I think he's a sneaky play. A lot of times people overlook him and they'll jump right to Hero. But Kendrick Nunn's on the floor with him all the time. And Kendrick Nunn's on the, 41 minutes, 34, 41. Like, he's going to get the minutes. And if he gets the minutes at this price tag, this is a good GPP play. I mean, when you're looking on a short game slate like this, you want to get people that are going to give you opportunity, high minutes. And then also if you can get some low ownership when it comes to GPP, even some cash games too, you want to take where the opportunity is high. Will I be playing Kendrick Nunn in cash games? No. But GPP, yes, I do have him on some of those lineups. Duncan Robinson, I know I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Duncan Robinson. He's been getting his minutes for sure. He is also predicated off if he hits. If he's not hitting, he's going to have a nice ceiling game if he hits his shots. Like, that's just how it's going to roll with him, And the thing is, he doesn't do a lot of the other stuff. He doesn't do a lot of this stuff. And the thing is that hurts him. So he's a great little small piece at 4. You're going to see a lot of him in lineups because he's 4K, especially with these people trying to squeeze in the stars and scrubs. You're going to see a lot of Duncan Robinson. So, I mean, he's definitely in play. As we go to the forwards, Jimmy Butler to me is a lock tonight. I will be building all of my lineups around Jimmy Butler. Against a team like Sacramento, who gives up the most points, right there with Brooklyn on this slate. They're giving up around 119. They also give up the most fantasy points for a team. So I do think there's a lot of value in these Miami guys. So like Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Honestly, I may float around with a little Kelly Olynyk. But Jimmy Butler to me is a lock. And then we got Kelly Olynyk's a decent little play here at 5K. Going against the Sacramento team again, that's just giving up a ton of fantasy points. So these fantasy points have got to go around somehow. And I think another guy that does pretty well that production is going to be Kelly Olynyk. 23, 14 minutes. He's been kind of on the low side these last 2 games. But before that, I mean, he's been getting you 26. He was a consistent 20 baller. Obviously the last 2 games have been rough 5. I do expect this to be a bounce back spot for Kelly. He just shot really poor. He hasn't hit a 3 in 4 games. So, I mean, he'll get it right.
He might be due for one tonight.
Yeah, he might be due for it. So I do think Kelly's on my watch list. Marvin Bagley is also – my problem is Luke Walton is not letting him free. And it's kind of weird to me because this is a high draft pick for Sacramento.
Yeah. And
they're just not letting him loose. And I don't understand sometimes the reasoning. But, I mean, he'll get 20 minutes. The thing is with no Raquan Holmes, he still didn't even get a boost in minutes. He got a boost in shots. But, I mean, he gave you 30 fantasy points, which is pretty solid, again, around this price tag. If he gets you in the 30 range at a 4.8, that's almost 6 times value. That is 6 times value. That's amazing. So you want that. So he's a great GPP play. Just obviously if he had more minutes, it would be even better. But I mean, he's a good play for sure. My smash spot is gonna definitely be. If you've been playing DFS for years now, Hassan Whiteside is a pain in the ass, and he's a pain in the ass because there's games that you would be like, oh, Hassan Whiteside's gonna murder here, and he just doesn't perform. There's something about Hassan Whiteside where it's just like you're playing with fire every time you play him. The only reason why that this game is, and a lot of people weren't on him, is because that Raquan Holmes news came out a little bit late, and he was able to smash for 58 points, 26 points, 16 boards, and 5 blocks. Do I think he repeats that performance? No. But do I think he can get you 30? Yes. If he gets you in the 20 minutes, he's going to get you 30. Hassan Whiteside's a phenomenal fantasy point per minute, but he's also, I don't know, it's an energy thing. It's a stamina thing. I don't know, but he just doesn't get minutes. Any team he's been on, he doesn't get minutes. It's just one of the things he can produce. He just doesn't get minutes. So if he gets you 25, and I think it's going to be a big night because it is against a former team. I like the narrative. But he's playing Miami. You know, he's playing a former guy that, you know, basically they traded out because they believed more in Bam. So I do think this is a get-up game for Hassan Whiteside. He's very selective on when he decides to play and when he doesn't decide to play. So I think this is one of those games he decides to play against a Miami team that brought him up, you know. So I think this is going to be a big game for him. I'm trying to trust him. I'm trying. I would love to.
That ceiling, I mean, that floor is, whew.
Oh, it's horrendous for sure. He could end up playing 10 minutes tonight. But
I mean, with Holmes out, he should get minutes. He should.
But here's the thing, though, with a guy like that, if you fade him and he does well,
you're gonna sit at the top. Yeah,
you're done. You can call it a night. That's why it's tough when someone like that, because he could give you 50 out of nowhere, and that's the thing. Even with 20 minutes, so it's hard. And let's be honest, Miami's one of the worst rebounding teams. They're not going to crash the offensive glass. If they don't crash the offensive glass, they limit transition. That means Hassan Whiteside is just going to gobble one after another. If Miami's poor offense decides not to score very well, Hassan Whiteside is going to be getting rebounds every possession. So he could give you a 20-rebound night. If he gives you a 20-rebound night, 10 points, I mean, he's already fucking 7 times his value.
Well, Olynyk shooting, man, you know, he's going to get all the boards.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's true, though. But, yeah, it's very true. But yeah, and then again, Bam Adebayo is a great play tonight again. He's a little bit more stretched now. He's been stretching the floor. Hassan Whiteside's not really good at man-to-man defense, so he would be able to have a really great night in that essence if he stretches the floor. I do like him. He's just got more energy than Hassan going up in that one-on-one matchup, and even if he's got to go up against Bagley, he's just a better player. So I just think, and there's no one on this team that could guard Bam, and I just think this is a smash spot for Bam and for Jimmy Butler. So I'll be building my lineups around both of them.
Yeah. Sure. You know, we're going to wrap it up today. We do have a very small slate, obviously, only 3 games, so not much we can really bring you. You know, stack your games for sure. Like you said, Bam and Jimmy are great picks here, but also don't forget about your Toronto and Milwaukee. You know, highest game on the slate. They play no defense over there. They don't believe in that. Straight offense. So, I mean, we're going to close it out. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you do like our content, you know, please, that'd be great. Subscribe if you love us. You know, if you already do like and subscribe, we really appreciate that. We love the support. Well, we'll be back Monday through Friday with all your top DFS plays for the slates. Appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow.